bring in that support and share experiences, because fundamentally this will be not the UK telling the Nigerians how to do things, it's the Nigerians looking at the issues that they have and where they think we work together, bringing out our expertise. That's what this agreement last week has promised. That the UK will share our expertise and will work together as the partnership to try and deliver that better security for the people.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That is what I expected, but I expected them to do more with action than talking. Because to do more action than talking, because UN, the United Nations, they have right to speak, and they have spoken to Nigeria like 2 or 3 occasions that they should free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, because the process at which they brought Mazen Nnamdi Kanu into Nigeria was illegal. But what I saw there is that the UK is the worst mistake Mazen Nnamdi Kanu ever made by identifying himself as a citizen of the UK. He made it, which I don't pray, even my next generation will never identify themselves as a UK.
If you have so what, another one thing, I'm telling you that if you have the means to go to your children, you not allow them go.
Is UK a place to go? There are many places to go. Even me, my very self, I had an opportunity just with 200,000 to go to Manchester. Yeah, I have the connect, but I don't like, because I don't like them. I hate things like this. I don't like them. I have never been, ever since that genocide 1967. You know, I was not born then, but I was born in the 70s. You understand me? So when I heard this and coupled with what I read in the books, it makes me, I had this kind of double this thing with the UK. I don't trust them. You understand? I hate their this thing. And the thing I played in my own time, this is not maybe they told me, or maybe, you know, I read it. I witnessed this one in the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, which had it been that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is a citizen of America or a citizen of even Russia, this thing will not be like this. But look at the illegality of conviction that they gave him, and UK denied him. Despite that, even the pronouncement, all the things that he said was not here in Nigeria. It was in his own land per se, based on a dual citizenship right. Do you understand? Being a citizen of a UK, you have your right to air your view. But now after airing that view, you push him and you denied him. You understand? When he needed you most, for you to prove that, yes, so I gave him a dual citizenship because he qualified, because there is meditation behind citizenship in every country. There is a merit that warrants that. And I believe that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu met all the requirements of the UK's dual citizenship that makes them to give him the card. You understand? But now it shows me that because he stands on the truth, because that is the source, their source of income, and I wonder why they hand over power. They came to bring Christianity and gave to us, then carry power, give to people that rejected Christianity. That is to tell you how terrible UK can be. Because all these things have been going on in my life. I used to think about it every day on a daily basis. Do you understand? That means these people are betrayal, they are evil. They are not what they pretend to be, or what they tell people that they are. They are wicked, they are evil, they are Satan. They are satanic in nature, satanic in mind, satanic in memory, satanic in the heart and character. And that is what they have shown to me now in my own time, not based on information, but based on my watch. In the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, denying their citizen. Now look at Abakari, which America demanded for him to be repatriated back to or extradited to America. Do you understand? Because of some issues, this case of drug and fraud cases. Now, Nigeria shaded him because he's a Fulani. Nigeria shaded him because he's a Muslim. Nigeria shaded him because he's not an Igbo man. Do you understand? And had it been that Abakari was an Igbo man, they will never shield him they would have, sent him to America. Take a look at you understand, the organ harvester in UK. See the way Nigeria just kept quiet and see the way UK struck that man. Do you understand? See the way they handle the case because he's an Igbo man. So this thing and this information I'm giving here is to inform every Igbos in diaspora. If you are in UK, you are not safe. Relocate to another country nearby. UK is not a place for the Igbos, for the Biafrans. And as for me and my generation, God forbid UK. Because the thing have, foretell me now the kind of people they are and the kind of hearts and where they place the Igbos.
But do you think that Nnamdi Kanu will be regretting? Because on the 7th of November in court, he told Omotosho, he said, "You cannot jail me, even though the UK told you to do so." Do you think that Nnamdi Kanu would have been regretting, just like you said, associating with the British?
Nnamdi Kanu, it's not regretting fighting for Biafra, standing for Biafra, or being an IPOB, but it's regretting of being a citizen of UK. He is regretting of ever identify himself as a UK citizen. He is regretting of ever making a step, making mistake of taking that step to UK. Because if he maybe is a member or a citizen of America or Russia or Israel, this thing wouldn't have happened. Let's assume he's a citizen of not even South Africa here. Let me not even mention all those, or even Iran. It will not happen. Or let's assume he's a citizen of Pakistan. It will not happen. Sure, you get my point now. It will not happen because they will definitely come. Or even Saudi Arabia, they will come and defend him. Even Burkina Faso here. But look at how useless UK is. How they have messed themselves up thinking that they are messing Mazen. They are not doing us, but they have proven to us they are not reliable. They are not people to reckon with. And I love this because the earlier the better. What has happened? Those who have ear, let them hear. If you don't have ear, whatsoever that happened to you, now your own cup of tea. Don't say their friend evangelists did not want you. Relocate from UK. If you're a citizen, so far you are Igbo man. So far you are a Biafran citizen. Please relocate from UK. Go to another country. Tear their passport. Tear your citizenship. Any connection you have with the UK. Because it cannot save you. You are in danger. Thank you.
But a lot of people say Nnamdi Kanu's wife was alleged that she was that she's protesting for her husband release. She said what Omotosho just gave a nonsense judgment, number one, and number two, she's calling, or a lot of people say she's heading down to the Washington DC to Donald Trump and the US government for help. He said this judgment cannot stand, that Omotosho acted based on what he said, based on emotion, and even Okpara said, and she said it was a scripted judgment that they wrote for him. That was what he carried out yesterday. Do you agree with
this?
It
was a script. It was
calling out the US government and Trump for.
Hold on, yeah. It was a script written, a written script, and if you watch the reading, the outcome of the reading, you will agree with me that even Omotosho was struggling to read it out. I don't know whether you listen to his reading. You will agree with me that he was even struggling to read it out. That is to tell you, this is a script written. Hand over to him. This is how you do it. Go ahead. Not that it's fully from the law. Nor did they check the conditions, all the saying that he said that is the reason, the point he made. You will agree with him that all those things is not valid. But the woman, in fact, I don't want to use the word that is coming to my mouth on her. Let me reserve that respect because of her husband, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, whom I respect so much. If not so, she that is a parambling jumping up before criticizing Simon Ekman and talking all sort of rubbish, make he go UK, go protest now. Where is she now going to United States? Where is she going to America?
They might help out.
Oh, excuse me, but they cannot. She cannot go to UK now.
Ekpa was doing the wrong thing.
Ekpa was doing the wrong thing. Ekpa now was doing the wrong thing.
Was she saying that because she wanted her husband to finally, make sure the husband was the one to declare Biafra, or was she was just being sentimental?
Excuse me, forget she's just being sentimental. They have used her and they have dumped her.
Nobody uses that.
Nigeria, they have used her and they have dumped her. So that's it. And now the UK that she want to sell, now the UK have abandoned you. UK have denied you. UK have denied your husband. Yes. Now run to UK. You do not run to UK. Now you are running to US. Only furefu. But let me reserve some because of your husband. Let me respect that.
She was doing well.
She was doing well in what sense?
But going.
Excuse me, Omoyere Sowore that carry protest. No be she supposed to carry am. Simon Ekpan action, no be her family supposed to carry am. Because of the illegal means of which they brought her husband home. Look at this woman, COS Ngozi Orabesi. You understand? The step that she's taking, no be she supposed to carry am. But nothing. She will come back and laugh. They will deceive her. Go UK there and which it to it. And she come to Aso Rock. They rob her. He go back and make sure. I beg, leave that woman and let her go to. I said, I would have talked. See, there is a lot of words in my mouth, but I will reserve it because of her husband. Because he's a man I respect so much. Yes. I respect her I respect that man so much. So I must give that honor to him, irrespective of whatsoever that has happened. He remains my hero. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu remains my hero. Yeah.
Okay, but do you think that Tinubu might be the last president of Nigeria?
Of course, it's possible. With the way things are going, it's possible, and I pray so. Let him be the last. Whether alive or dead, make it be the last.
I want to read something from Nigeria's president. He says the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant doesn't reflect our national reality. Religious freedom and tolerance have been a core tenet of our collective identity and shall always remain so. Nigeria opposes religious persecution and does not encourage it. He says the picture we're getting here is not accurate.
You know, unfortunately, that is completely false. I mean, there are states in Nigeria that have blasphemy laws, people who are facing the death penalty right now for blasphemy against Islam. There's a person currently right now who's held in prison for defending himself from attack from a Muslim militant from the Finaly tribe. He defended himself, and he's facing the death penalty. So, no, there's serious persecution happening in Nigeria. I know the president, Nubu, is in a difficult position in trying to protect his interests there in that country, but they are complicit in this to one degree or another with statements like this.
I was shocked. So I now went close to him. I said, I am Comrade Atiku Isa. I wanted to introduce myself. I said, no, I know you. So he started telling me about what happened. So I became shocked. I said, then he told me that be strong. That was how I continued discussion with him for about 2 months. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is somebody I know very well, because if you stay with somebody on a daily basis and you are discussing with the person on a daily basis for about 2 months, because in detention you don't have anything to do. You only sit down on a particular spot, and you are with this person on a daily basis, and you are always discussing. So you should know the kind of person that he is. And let me tell you that people don't know that it was prior to my meeting with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I had thought that he was a wicked man who want to divide the country, because I am a patriotic Nigerian and I don't want anything that will bring confusion in this country. So that was the mindset I had. But after meeting him, in the detention, I realized that the Fulanis, the Hausas, the Kanuris there are all loyal to him. You'll be shocked that he has more supporters in the DSS facility than he has outside, because if anywhere you live and you have more than 95% of the people who are supporting you. Before I met him, a Fulani guy told me, because he said, oh, if you see Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, he will like you because you can speak English. The guy does not understand English. We're always communicating in Hausa language and in Arabic language. So he said, he will like you because you can speak English, and he's a good man. If you have any problem, tell him, he will help you. So that is how they see Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. Everybody in that detention facility, they see him as their leader. So it's not about a leader agitating for the Igbo cause. He's a leader agitating for Nigerians, for the betterment of Nigerians. So that is the person Mazin Nnamdi Kanu is. So I have discussed with him severally. On a daily basis, he will tell me, Atiku will be strong. And along the line, now told me that, okay, I want you to play along so that they release you from here. I don't want you to continue to stay in detention. That was when I said, I'm ready to remain in detention. I said, no, this place is not good for you. Play along. Do whatever they want you to do. Get away from me and go and meet your family. I said, you are here. Say, don't worry. You go out. I don't want to see young men like you to be in detention. So that is the person we are talking about, that Mazin Nnamdi Kanu is. A very passionate leader with compassion, and he has the interest of especially the masses at heart. And I think the problem he has, which is not a problem, is that he's too courageous and fearless. And that is why, to me, he is still in detention. Courageous and fearless.
We held this, inaugural security and defence dialogue. It was a meeting that went on for 3 days, actually, and I was really grateful to General Mogano and his team for coming over there. It was a good dialogue. It builds on work that we started together a few years ago, but basically it was looking at how we can work together and how the UK can support Nigeria on key issues like tackling criminal groups, tackling terrorist groups, but also building stronger community policing and addressing human rights.
So there is there an effective, practical, implementable security and defense partnership in place beyond this sort of inaugural dialogue? Absolutely.
And as the General said when he was here, the situation in Nigeria is incredibly complex and evolving. And different in different parts of the country as well. But Nigeria is really important for its own stability, but also for the work that they're doing for regional stability and security. Insecurity in Nigeria, in that part of Africa, also impacts on the UK's own security. So that's why we want to work with Nigeria as a trusted friend, as a partner. And officials are already working together on issues like how you address those terrorist threats, how we can bring the lessons that we've learned on things like community policing to improve security across Nigeria.
And in terms of the scope and scale of that dialogue partnership, the focus apparently is on counter-terrorism, so Boko Haram, ISWAP, etc., organized crime, which presumably is things like kidnappings, banditry, and also military cooperation. How will this help to address these problems, particularly in the Northeast? And how is this defense cooperation actually going to work?
So, yes, but it's also about policing, okay? Because what we know in the UK and in Nigeria is that to keep civilians safe, you also need to have effective, accountable, transparent community policing. And that's part of the work that we'll be doing through sending advisors, bringing shared experiences to help the Nigerian police forces adapt so that they will be able to respond to incidents in a more timely and more effective manner and help them roll out that community policing, especially in areas that have seen conflict.
Of course, Nigeria's security problems, as I'm sure you know, are quite deep, and therefore root and branch reforms that are far-reaching are needed. This agreement to deploy policing advisors from the UK in Nigeria. What kind of advice will they actually give? I mean, when are they arriving? How long are they going to be in Nigeria? Do we have details?
So officials are already working on implementation of what was agreed last week, and we know that there are multiple complex issues going on here. But where we think we can help work together is the experience that we've had looking at managing the risks of extremist groups, how you can reduce that, how you can improve the policing response so that supporting civilians moves from being a military solution into being a community-led and community policing-led solution. And these are the areas where we believe that the Nigerians have identified issues that they would like help with, and where we can then bring in that support and share experiences, because fundamentally this will be not the UK telling the Nigerians how to do things, it's the Nigerians looking at the issues that they have and where they think we work together, bringing out our expertise. That's what this agreement last week has promised, that the UK will share our expertise and will work together as the partnership to try and deliver that better security for the people of Nigeria.
But of course, part of the reason Nigeria is calling on the UK is because it itself has failed to do the things that it needs to do. I mean, in the course of the meetings you had, both sides agreed on the importance of police reform in Nigeria. You mentioned briefly the role that you see the UK playing. Can you sort of expand on that with particular focus on reforming the police force?
So a lot of this is, as I said, how do you better respond to community issues? How do you better respond in post-conflict areas so that where there has been conflict, the police can help de-escalate that through a community-driven response. And I know that the different threats in are different in different parts of Nigeria, and therefore the issues that are faced are different. But one of the other things that was discussed at the dialogue is very much the regional issues as well. And Nigeria as a country that's respected democracy, really wanting to continue to play a very strong part regionally. So this cooperation that we will have will be not only looking at what's happening in Nigeria, but also Nigeria's role in greater regional stability too.
Right. And not to throw a sort of wobbler at you there, but is this assistance from the UK going to be paid for by Nigeria? Is it a deal that's going to see Nigeria paying money to Britain?
It's not, we were discussing how we can work together in partnership. This is not,
So it's not a deal as such?
It's not a financial deal as such.
Right. And I'm sure you've heard of the End-SARS protests in Nigeria against police brutality. A judicial panel was set up in Lagos to look into it, and it submitted a report. I think last November. You sent out a tweet saying that transparency and accountability are vital and that you will be following developments closely. What's your assessment of the white paper that was issued by the Lagos state government on that report? Did it meet your expectations?
So obviously the white paper raised lots of different questions, and it raised questions about the role of the federal police and about the military. And those are questions that the federal government needs to look at and address. A key point that we believe in the UK is the importance of transparency and accountability, and that it is really important that civilians have the right to transparency, to understand when things have gone wrong, what's got wrong, and that people can be held to account if there have been situations where the police or other forces have not acted in a way, or that people believe they've not acted in a way that they should have done. But that transparency and accountability is a key part of what we would like to see in that response. And indeed, transparency and accountability was a lot of what I discussed with the General and his team when they were over here last week.
And are you seeing that in the context of the NSAS protests
We're watching
and the
really
report?
closely, and I've been talking indeed to my team in Nigeria just today who are watching this very, very closely, and will want to keep arguing for that transparency and accountability, because it is so important that people feel they have that in order to be able to trust the police, the military, etc.
And now that the UK and Nigeria have had this inaugural dialogue, do you see the possibility of more meetings to deepen that security and defence partnership? What happens next?
And indeed, you know, officials are already meeting and they're working on implementation. There'll be another high-level meeting this time next year so that we can keep the process rolling on. But I also think that this is part of a much wider partnership. Back at what I said in the beginning, you know, our view is that we want countries to be freer, safer, more prosperous, greener and ready to adapt to climate change. We have a particular focus in the UK at looking at women and girls in our foreign policy, you know, empowering and educating women and girls as part of that. So we've got we do an awful lot in Nigeria, for example, on international development and helping girls get to school and supporting education. And we also have deep trade ties. And when I'm visiting Nigeria, which I will be doing in the coming weeks, I'll be looking at those parts of our relationship, because it's not just the security, but it's also the trade partnership. It's that education partnership, it's the development partnership, which together we believe makes countries stronger, and that makes UK stronger as well.
Of course, just listening to you there's a broad church of things to do and things that you've enumerated there. I mean, how will these things that have been agreed be monitored? I mean, how are you going to measure progress? Is there likely to be a joint panel or something to that effect set up to sort of do that?
I think the most important thing is that we get on with the implementation. We get on and make sure that we in the UK are listening to what the Nigerians are saying they want advice on. We've offered advice, we've offered training, and let's make sure that we are listening and responding to what the Nigerians are saying, Nigerian officials and officers are saying that they need, so that then we can work on and deliver it. But yes, the implementation is going through, and as I said, there'll be a follow-up meeting at a high level again this time next year, so that we can make sure that it's delivering. The issues that Nigeria face are very, very complicated. You know, I understand that. You know, I grew up in Northern Ireland. I understand the challenges that you can get when you have terrorist organisations in parts of your country, and that they can be different in different parts of the country. So I don't think we should be making promises overnight that situations will be resolved overnight. This is a journey, but we stand there to support the Nigerians on bringing what expertise we have from the UK to help support on that journey.
And just looking beyond defence and security, another crucial area for both sides is, of course, trade. Britain and Nigeria began talks last year on what was described as an ambitious trade deal. Where do things stand now with that? It's a sort of post-Brexit trade deal, isn't it?
Well, we absolutely want to be the partner of choice for Nigerian businesses when they're looking for trade, when